Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We have a huge day of action, not just within college basketball world, but also with the divisional round within the NFL, as well as a lot of hockey games fired up. We do have a lot of content here on the channel. Make sure you check out all those videos. But in this video, we're going to go over my best bets for the college basketball slate. It's a huge card, okay? I have three best bets that I'll be giving you guys right now on the channel. And we're going to talk about some of the marquee games as well, where I'll give you guys some leans in those contests, all right? Before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe right down below. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. For those of you that are sticking around, you've been with us since last college basketball season. You already know what it is. Let's get down to the picks, and let's do outlier to do this, right? Let's look at it. We are going to pull it up here. And the first game I'm going to talk about is Creighton and UConn, okay? The Huskies come into this game, and I want to share with you guys kind of the disappointment that they've had illustrated. This is a UConn team that, in my personal opinion, right, is not living up to the standards that they've set. And more so, I think that Creighton also is having a down year, 11-6 on the season, but they just had a very big win, blowing out Providence. This kind of leads me to a pick where I do like Creighton. You can find +8 juiced up. I would lean with the Blue Jays going on the road to take on the Huskies. And if you do look at the betting splits, it kind of aligns a little bit within the fact that a lot of people are on that Creighton money line. So don't mind it, but my personal play would be in the form of Creighton +8. I don't really love it, but it is something that it's more of a fade against UConn as we stand today. All right, next one, I do have a small lean in taking Pittsburgh on the money line, -154 against Clemson. Get the Pitt Panthers 12-5 on the season at home. I think this is in my opinion, one of the better games to look into. I do like what Pitt's been able to do, and for my money, I would take the Pitt Panthers to get the win at home against the Clemson Tigers. So that's a very strong lean. Pitt money line -154, okay? Now, the marquee game at noon that everybody's going to be talking about is in the SEC. It's Alabama and Kentucky. Wildcats and the Crimson Tide, all 14-3 on the season. This is where Kentucky, in my opinion, is the right side. But this isn't going to be a run-em-up, shoot-em-up game. Look at the total at 178.5. We never see a total at 178.5, but this has potential, in my personal opinion, to reach 200 points, okay? That's just kind of how I view it. Look at both of these offenses. If Alabama's converting, we do have a potential where we do get 200-plus points in this game in terms of a total. So I see some value at 178.5, and I can't really believe I'm saying that, but that's kind of where I stand today. As we look at Alabama, the fastest pace in the country in terms of the KenPom rankings, number one in adjusted tempo. I do look at that a lot. That's something where as long as you look at the offensive efficiency and they convert, right? You can be efficient as you want, but you still have to make buckets. So I do like the over in this game, and I would lean towards the Wildcats at home at a short money line price, -125. But I think this one comes down to the wire. With that much scoring expected, it really could be a blowout game. It could be anything. It could be 2 points and all of a sudden 8 points at the final. So I'm going to stay away from the side, but I do like the total going over 178.5, okay? Next, let's go down the list a little bit. We are going to talk about some games. A game that I do have a smaller play in is going to be the Georgia versus Auburn, right? 1 versus 23 in terms of rankings. Georgia's been kind of letting me down when I do take the Bulldogs, but now we get potentially the biggest game being played in the history of the Georgia Bulldogs home arena. The Tigers may be the number one team in the country, and if you can take the Georgia Bulldogs, that seemingly is going to be the correct side. I like the Bulldogs here +6.5. That is the side of the table that I will be on for this game. Lean Bulldogs, not an official play. I will probably look into it. 1 o'clock tip-off, but this is kind of where I think Saturday, this is a huge slate, and I do like the Bulldogs here at home in a game where, albeit Auburn is very much overwhelming, but I do see the opportunity the Bulldogs have at home, keeping this one close. I'd love to get a 7, but the 6.5 is out there, so that's something where as long as they have a decent outing shooting the 3 points, 3-point field goals, I do think that the Bulldogs can keep this one close enough to cover at home, okay? Further down the list, I do want to get into one of my official plays, if we can ever find it, and that is going to be a little bit further down. Give me 1 second. There is a lot of games today. And not having much luck, so I'm just going to do a quick little search for it, and that's where we're going to go into the Stetson Hatters, 4-14, hosting the West Georgia Wolves at home. Stetson, very short money line favorite, -110. That's where I'm looking into taking Stetson at home. You can see it right here on this odds board. Okay, if we look at kind of where we're at, this is one of those smaller scale games where there's not much handle, so you really can't even look at betting splits. But I just think Stetson's a better team offensively. They're playing at home. It's a short money line price. West Georgia is 1-4 in conference, 3-15 overall. Look for the Stetson Hatters to get this one done in a short money line price. I just see value in taking the home team at home, so that's going to be one of my best bets that I give out. Okay. Also, we do have Florida and Texas playing, but we are going to go into the Big Ten, okay, where we look into the Oregon game going against the Purdue Boilermakers. Okay, 17 versus 13. Same kind of logic here. We're going to take Oregon -135 on the money line. I think that's the correct side. I do favor the Ducks in this spot. This is a huge Big Ten matchup, but this isn't the Purdue Zach Edey national championship runner-up team. Similar to Connecticut, this is a team that is reeling a little bit, and I lost some money on Iowa last night. I'm not a big fan of the Big Ten in terms of basketball this season, but this is something where we do get Oregon at home, tough place to play, and also these are two of the top teams, in my opinion, in conference, okay? I think Oregon right now has a very strong chance and use their balanced attack to get this job done, but I do think that offensively, Purdue has enough to keep it in check. I just think that right now it's something where this is a tough matchup for Purdue, and I do like the fact that Oregon is at home. So I'm going with the Ducks. We're taking it right now as home teams within the Big Ten Conference. We're noticing that conference realignment, the travel concerns, I think that's continuing to take a toll. I do like Oregon quite a bit in this game, so I'm taking Oregon -135 as an official play. Okay, so that's about it. That is a quick recap of what we have going on. Just my three official plays. Stetson money line, we're going Kentucky over 178.5, and the Oregon Ducks on the money line. We do have leans on Kentucky minus the 2.5 money line, whatever you want to take, as well as what we have going on within Georgia plus the points. And then also, if we do want to talk about the UConn Creighton game, I do favor taking Creighton +8 if you can find it. So those are my leans and my official bets for today in the college basketball world. Hope you guys all do well. Let's cash some tickets. Have fun watching some NFL today. This is my favorite weekend of the season, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Cheers.